My story. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. That comes from Matthew 6:34. Thursday, October 8th, 2009, was officially the worst day of my life. Besides it being the birthday of my deceased sister, Crystal, it was also the day I received the worst news. You have cancer. Wait, did I hear her correctly? What was I supposed to say to that? I was completely caught off guard and stunned. While trying to process what I just heard, all these emotions came over me. This wasn't the news I expected to hear, and of course, it was not the news I wanted to hear. My heart was physically aching. There I was, sitting in a patient's room at the Cleveland Clinic, a world-renowned hospital. I was visiting my childhood friend Cassandra, who was recuperating from a complication due to her previous operation. Just the night before, she had to have emergency surgery and barely escaped death. As we sat there talking about everything that had taken place with her health crisis, my cell phone rang. I looked at it and noticed that it was a call from my doctor's office. Although I was expecting a call to discuss the result of my breast biopsy, I thought it wouldn't be for another couple of days. Anxiously and somewhat nervously, I answered the call. Hello? On the other end of the line, I heard a voice say, Andrea? I replied, yes, this is she. After confirming that it was indeed me on the telephone, my doctor begrudgingly told me the results. I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but your biopsy came back positive. Is she saying that wait, what? I was shocked and confused. Huh? What are you saying? Are you saying I have cancer? Those words didn't even sound right coming out of my mouth. I was hoping my ears was playing a trick on me. Perhaps I didn't hear what I thought I did. Yes, that's it. I misunderstood what she said. She answered, yes, you have cancer. I'm very sorry to have to give you this bad news, but I wanted to let you know as soon as possible. In that moment, I was scared. I was scared to death. I was scared of death. I felt sad and unsure about what my future held. Tears began to roll down my face. Cassandra noticed how distraught I was and tried to console me. In her haste to comfort me, she yanked off her EKG patches and somehow managed to get out of her bed and walk over to me. She began rubbing my back and continuously asked me what was going on. I hadn't told her that I had a biopsy performed on my right breast. I couldn't even form the words to tell her what the doctor said because I was crying so hard. Eventually, I was able to mumble, I have cancer. I'm not even sure how she was able to understand what I was saying underneath all that sobbing. She kept rubbing my back and telling me everything would be all right. Some seconds later, a nurse came rushing into the room. She was in a panic. She thought my girlfriend had died because the EKG monitor showed that her heart had flatlined. Once the nurse saw that my girlfriend was alive, she asked what was going on. Cassandra told her that I had just found out I had breast cancer. The nurse walked over to me and, and brought me some tissue. As I wiped my tears away and cleaned my runny nose, she reached her arms out, pulled me toward her, and gave me a tight hug. After a while, she grabbed my hands, looked me in my eyes, and calmly said, I know that it's difficult being diagnosed with cancer, but that just means you now have the responsibility of being a survivor. Wait, what was she saying? I had the responsibility of being a survivor. I looked her dead in her eyes and asked what she meant by that. She said, being diagnosed doesn't necessarily mean death. Now you have the responsibility to fight your hardest to win this battle. And once you do, you can help others do the same. Her words struck a chord with me. I looked at her and thought, you're right. In that moment, she brought joy inside my tears. My entire perspective changed about my diagnosis. I wiped my tears and accepted my new responsibility to be a survivor. Now, the words "you have breast cancer" didn't have the same effect on me. Being diagnosed with breast cancer didn't necessarily mean I would be defeated. I could be victorious. I would be victorious. Unfortunately, I do not know the name of the nurse who came into the room that day, but I am forever indebted to her. She changed my life. At that moment, her words gave me hope, and I welcomed my new role, a survivor. Even though I was somewhat feeling better about my situation, the worst part wasn't over. I still had to tell my mom about my diagnosis. How was I going to muster up the courage to tell her that I had breast cancer? I'm going to stop there. I tell you, anytime I think about this day and being diagnosed, I am forever grateful for that nurse, that angel disguised as a nurse, because she truly, truly changed my entire perspective. Now, I'm not saying that I didn't cry anymore, because I did. There were many a nights and days that I cried. But she gave me something to look forward to. When you hear the words "you have cancer," your thoughts automatically go to death, to "I'm dying." And I thank God that I didn't, that I'm still here 15 years later, being able to share my story, to encourage people through my story, to inspire people, to give hope. So thank you for going along. We have some more days in this month to go, so I will continue to read and share my story and the lessons that I learned. Take care. I love you. And feel your boobies. And men, if you're listening to this as well, know that you can get breast cancer. So make sure you feel your breast tissue to make sure there's nothing, or to ensure that there's no changes that have taken place. All righty. Bye-bye.